Hi Libra, if you'd like to come on in, have a seat for some symbolic support. My name is Steph. I've made an ink blot in your name and essence, and we are going to flip it for perspective possibilities. And we're going to do it again. If you'd like to take a screenshot there so you can scry on your own time and terms for shapes and symbols that speak to your psyche and psychic senses. Libra, we're also going to add on tarot and oracle. We have the ghost tube here. Kick in for any audio additions that may further inspire or irritate. You know the drill. Please receive or release freely. I'm going to take a moment to open up. You're welcome to join me, or you can fast forward through, having the power to pause, replay, and revisit. When you're ready, taking a nice big breath. Closing the eyes, cleansing the palette of perception, releasing the race and the rush. Activating the abstract mind and ancient awareness to perceive and receive symbolic support. In the name and honor of Libra. Libras, thank you so much for being my muse, for holding space for me to share my insights and allowing me to be a guest in your aura. Gratitude galore. Let's dig in. All right.
Bribe.
So you know the drill. If you see, sense, or feel anything, please feel well to comment below or keep to yourself alike. Introverts and extroverts, honored. First thing that's coming through for me is this, okay, so there's almost like, oh, I got a purple pen today, moose, a moose off, if the moose symbol means anything to you. There's also some drooling that's I'm seeing right in here from the mouth. On one hand, I see drooling, and on the other hand, Libra, interestingly enough, the drooling brings me into like sleep state, like deep slumber is specifically the word I'm hearing, a slumber. The other side that I'm hearing is it's almost like, what is that when, is it like when something is rabbit or feral and they have the foam at the mouth, if there's something you're trying to work through. Could even be something in regards to, okay, here it is, thank you. So I'm working between these two. You can see this. You might be working through generational stuff. I'm going to use the word stuff because that's, I don't want to say necessarily karma, and I don't necessarily want to assume that it's bad. I feel actually, if I'm being very honest, it feels well. It feels I'm passing on the speech of, through speech, the stories that, how do I say, are symbolic to maybe the family, to your belief systems, clearing them up, even clearing up speech to the next generation. So whether you have children or you work corporately, creatively with other people that are of a different age, and there's cleaning up any sort of passive aggressivity, any sort of condescending nature. It feels very pure, like I'm purifying my person in the way I interact with different age groups, generations, awarenesses. And I feel like Libras are really good at this anyway in general. But there's something about releasing the whole responsibility of it and allowing all the people, places, or things to play in the playground at once, if you know what I'm saying. That's how I'm seeing it. But whatever, if you're doing something on a personal level, generational, I keep hearing there's a gift there. There's a gift. It's like I've been unwrapping a gift very meticulously. What this gift is, I'm going to sense it's different for everybody. But it is definitely that feeling I'm unwrapping something. And I might have a Jack in the Box feel, or it could be a pleasant surprise, which is the way I'm sensing it. Because even like the anticipation of like Jack in the Box, I'm going to be so pleased. Now, I did bring up a historical moments card for you, and I almost forgot, so I apologize. So should this have any resonance?
Where?
But the piece of history that stepped forward for you was D-Day. And at 6:30 on June 6, 1944, so 6644 might mean something to you. Also 6:30 a.m. in regards to the slumber and the sleeping, or maybe you're getting up at 6:30 a.m., something along that lines. Allied forces of American, Canadian, and English troops landed in Normandy, France, in the single largest seaborne invasion in history, taking German-held land in the north of France in a pivotal World War II battle. The Allies took the beaches, a precursor to the Germans' later surrender. So there's something for me when I wander into like this very charged historical moment, but what it's reminding me of, it's like coming through even the capes. Thank you. So I'm moving through the sleep state to wake state, what's happening in the subconscious, what has happened before generationally again, or even different time frames, different decades. And I'm very, very aware of things happening emotionally coming through the beaches, through the water. I'm aware of things happening on land. I'm aware of things happening on in the airspace, if I didn't already say that. Do you know what I'm saying? On all the different landscapes. And anything in regards to that might be triggering a recall it's not getting the sensation of like with that foaming at the mouth, like this. And that could be one aspect where you're feeling that, Libras, in the aura of all that is, this combative feeling or this growl. But I want to note from a Libra space, when I like wander right in individually into a Libra aura, so thank you. It's kind of like I'm holding the space of neutrality in the different momentums that are happening. And at the same time, I do want to understand that I don't want to necessarily invigorate an intention that I'm not actually aligned with. Do you know what I'm saying? So I feel like Libras are very aware of this. And it's like, ooh, I can see things because of this generational stuff. It's a gift of remembering. This also could be in past life stuff or paralleling past life stuff. So you're aware of it. Libras, I also feel like you're acutely aware of your, exactly, thank you, of your higher awareness. I'm gonna use that word. Higher awareness, higher perceptions, and that could be part and parcel of that gift coming through. Like it's like you've been given coal before in the past, and now that coal over time, over pressures and over percolation, is creating that diamond for you in gratitude for your commitment to whatever you've been doing, whatever you've been working through. And it's like the coal turning into a diamond. There is this constant pressure, and I feel like the pressure is being released within the self. And if it's sensed outside, I have this awareness of what I want to attract, what I want to magnetize to, versus just be like thrown into it. Does that make any sort of sense? So we have resilience coming through, and a fox might mean something to you as well. And success. Yeah, you are being absolutely rewarded for some sort of resilience and these higher self reflections that I feel are coming through. Yeah, okay. I'm going to throw that off to the side for a second. Right in here, there's a being.
What is that?
Yeah, we're working through it. There is a being that's kind of like an elf, or they have some sort of cone head. And they are riding on the back of, oh, what is this? Okay, it's a bird dog. Do, 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 do. Sally was a teacher. She's a bird. Tiptoed up to meet her. Never. Okay, there's these very tiny wings, and even though it's like this big being, it kind of looks like a slipper. But even though it's this big being, there's these tiny wings, and this spirit could be your higher self, could be source, whatever it is that you're working with in regards to this, and they are creating the wind. Thank you. So that's why my wings don't need to be big. That's what that's making me feel like. Whatever this creature is, it also could be a stuffy that you had from a child, from childhood. Something symbolic of childhood, especially if you're working through again, the generations and what they can generate. Okay, so there's definitely a union happening in regards to...
Are you a friend?
Absolutely, yes. So when I was speaking of that, the ages of awareness, and I really want to remember that for your title, the age of awareness, because I feel like this is where you're at collectively, individually, or learning how to integrate in one way, shape, or form, and then express it out, embody it, and purify it. So if there's a charged thing from your history, and it doesn't have to be like from a different time frame, it could be in this lifetime, and there's something very, very charged going on. There's something about understanding the energy attached to that and how I can transmute it, really alchemize it. Okay, now I need to age of awareness and alchemy because this is like some serious stuff, and I feel like it's happening on this personal level, but you're sharing it in a public level. Also wandering into that personal life, that private life, and then this public life. And this harmony of things, but I feel like it's a little bit hidden. And I feel like it's hidden, and that's a protective measure. Does that make sense? Like, it's not, you can't necessarily, it's like Libras, you're doing this thing. It's like, how are you doing this? How are you so calm? And it's not a false calm. It's a process of peace. Process of peace. And it's not for the faint of heart, because there's an understanding of whatever is happening in, let's say, in this moment of right now, of generationally, what I'm creating for the next generations to come, what was happening before me, I'm generating. That's the key word that Libras understand, what's being generated. Oh, I hope that makes sense. And here are your cards in case, sorry. And this is a lot of success in that. There also could be something, if I may, about that elf with the cone head. And with that success, and it just kind of came in with that star, your North Star. Maybe this is in regards to your career or something that you're pursuing. Again, maybe you've been doing it very privately or in your personal life, and you might be bringing something out publicly to say, oh, look, I'm also this. Or not also, because I don't necessarily want to say it has to be some sort of identifying factor for it to be a success or a failure. It's more of a, I'm exposing or expressing a different part of me to the world. Maybe you're an artist, or you also create little things, or you're really good at grass cutting. I don't know what the situation is, or you're writing a book. And it doesn't have to be those classic things. Maybe it's even just on your social media. You're starting to purify your social media, the way you present yourself. And this isn't in the false frequency. Maybe you're a singer. This isn't about like cleaning it up to appease the masses of like, look how professional I am. It feels very authentic, like homegrown, home roots. And it feels like it's time. It's time. Also, if there's anyone that has somebody who has passed, I feel like they are like waving, because I keep seeing somebody like waving at me, and I don't know if they're waving like, hey, like, can you see me? Or they're just like, hey, how are you? But I feel like somebody's definitely waving in spirit to you, and it feels like it feels very, very friendly. It feels very friendly. Okay, I'm going to continue on here, Libra. So thank you so much for being here. If you haven't already, please do like, share, subscribe. And we'll add on some more tarot and oracle as well. Okay, so see way up here. Actually, it's very specifically here.
This is my place.
Oh, I love that. You can zoom in if you're on a phone. But this almost looks like that, you know, dare I say, that that war zone. Nose to nose with something. And even on the bottom of the deck, sorry, we have here conclusion. So there's something I'm concluding and that I was absolutely wishing for, and I am reminded of. It's like history again is saying, you can, you know, lest we forget, like Remembrance Day, lest we forget the sacrifices that were made and the emotions of that. But to the point, it feels like to me in this moment, the point is to transmute it into what can provide. And I don't know if that's like the place you guys are, like you are right now taking as individuals in this sign space, and you are providing this, and maybe just it's hidden and we don't know as other signs. So I'm going to extend some gratitude to you right now, if that's the case, that you are helping wishes come true by being a reminder without it being raw. And so it can be more easily transmuted. But there's something that you're reminded of. This also could be somebody in spirit. This could be somebody in your genealogy or your ancestry. And they had a wish for you. And you have a wish for your future generations. And I want you to know as well that you have success here once again. So whatever it is that you are working on, working towards, if you've been, I don't want to say worried, but perhaps there's been a little worry that, like, is this working? I don't know. Am I doing the right things? Am I enough? Yes, absolutely. I feel as though you have been not having to, being reminded it's not all on you. It's through your collective of literally the scales of balancing all that is.
Can you hear him?
There's like this reminder of it's not all for you. There are other people in your lineage as well. Also those that you might be creating, also the legacies in your career. In a journal you're going to leave when this incarnation transforms, you will also be a reminder, and there's just this reminder to you that you are doing the work. You are doing the work, and you're allowed to have pleasure in the process, if that's a question. All right, Libra, sorry. I don't want to take up too much of your time. I'm also seeing a Cupid. Okay, and I'm also seeing a triangle chariot, which is interesting. So again, I don't know how many of you land in, kind of aliens or angels, or maybe you're seeing triangles quite specifically around you as a shape that's trying to communicate, and or like a spaceship, or even, okay, so I just heard stealth, like a stealth bomber type thing. Okay, so that's how that's working out. You're doing something quietly. And this is reminding me, if Eight of Wands and the Devil mean anything to you, you know the drill. Please do follow that. For me, this feels like, again, a reminder you're not doing this alone, whether it's through all Libras or through your own ancestral lineages and your generations, like all hands on deck. But there's some sort of reminder of allowance to everyone's taking part the best way they can. What is the most conducive for the overall spiritual growth, I'm going to call it. There's something about the devil standing through. Can you tell me? And I don't want to necessarily follow the typical realm of what it means. So I'm just going to... Okay, so this is bringing in the balance. This is bringing in the balance, like that warrior feeling. And also receiving from the light. It's like I've had to carry this staff, this wand.
She won't leave.
How do I say? Again, it's also masculine and feminine. I've had to take the hand of even my darkest generational thoughts. Or not generational thoughts. Maybe that's some karma history that I'm having to heal. And not be tempted to necessarily step into it in the same way. And you're not, Libra, sorry. I want that to be felt as the way I'm sensing it. It's like they're actually working. It's to your favor because of the transmuting that you're, and the alchemy that you're working with. That is very fascinating. Sorry. You are literally alchemizing even what you feel from the collective within the self, individually or amongst others. And again, I don't want to, like, you have to walk around feeling like it's all the different Libras are doing it, different lineages are doing it in their own way, to kind of release the ties and the binds, even if this is in concepts of my job or your career, your relationships, personal, professional, platonic, all those kind of good things. If there are strings that are attached to something in disguise, if there's an emotion attached to the way I'm acting or being, I'm taking hold of them and I'm able to understand, or at least I'm willing to go through the process of even freeing them so they can be transmuted or alchemized into something that is supportive to wherever it is that I'm going. That's how it makes me feel, because it's like I'm the source. I'm the source. And I wish to, it's almost like I see the sorrow as part of me, and it's not something I want to shun, and it's not something I necessarily want to shy away from. But there takes a lot of strength, coal to the diamond type thing. Awesome. Libras, oh my goodness, I hope this is making sense, and I truly want to extend my gratitude for your support, for your awareness, for the immense amount of work that you're doing. It's incredible. And if you haven't already, to please do like, share, and subscribe. You guys all warm my haunted heart as I'm here sharing my scry stories and all that kind of good stuff. So thank you. All right, let's carry on. Closing out messages for Libra. Okay, thank you. As I was wandering here, in this teachability hollow bone, it's like the bones of the past, and you hear the bellows. For some, you might even be, you know what it's reminding me of? It's like having Remembrance Day, and for us here, it's November 11th, or like Valentine's Day, February 14th, whatever it is, whatever the case is. Those are peaks where the collective is thinking or feeling that, but you kind of carry it all the way through the year. So you might be getting a gift, giving a gift to remind somebody, or going to visit a grave, or going to, finding a piece of clothing, something of your own history, or whatever the case may be, or somebody in your family, and giving gratitude of remembering, but without carrying the hurt, and saying thank you for that. So that's what it's making me feel like. There's something I'm being drawn up in here as we're getting ready to close out. Okay, so I'm seeing a fish jump out of water. A fish jump out of water. Not like, oh, I'm a fish out of water. And maybe in some cases it might feel that way. But I'm actually feeling like
thirst.
Okay, interesting. Because I was going to say the water is hydrating. So there could be something about swimming. I'm also seeing something about clouds. And wind was a big thing, because wind's jumping back in. It's like when I out of the water of emotions, and I can take this big breath that will carry me under the water for quite some time. You've also been listening to those before you and realizing you're also, as you're in the present moment, you're also going to be referred to. It's like you can see it simultaneously, referred to by the future as one of those elders. A lot of star stuff coming up, Libras. A lot of star stuff coming up. So it's bringing me into like that. Again, that diamond, we've had the different shapes. But that could also be where your gift is. Like your star sign. You are a star. Again, whatever you might be coming out as. Or implying you have a gift. Not implying that you have a gift. But, coming out. Sorry if I said that really horribly. But it feels like when you do that, people gather in the light. But it might be, I keep seeing all these spirits around you. It's like I'm singing, like the sound of music, and all of these little creatures come around me and celebrate with me. Like it may not always have to look, the accolades, awareness, alchemy, and accolades can come from many different sources that are expressed, whatever source is for you. Okay. Crown Games, right use of power. Yeah, transpersonal watchers. That's where that person is. There's been this, Libras, you have this immense amount of ability to understand the use of power in many ways, shapes, or forms. And maybe you haven't been harnessing it for oneself, or you haven't been necessarily drawing it in, but I feel like I want to tell you, like, it's here for you to have and to hold, to have and to hold. Now, for some of you, there might actually be a union of marriage, a commitment ceremony of some sort. Even if that is you're committing to retirement or you're committing to another person or another job, another contract, but you're very contemplative in this. It's not necessarily in looking for a right or wrong. It's what's in
Father.
rightness for myself. And that is not selfish. It feels like if I'm accountable and responsible for that portion, then I can move freely around the other reflections of others that might be alchemizing things differently. But there's something like I want to say I'm very, very proud in this moment that I have held myself to a standard, and I have done my very, very best and will continue to apply that. You have someone, some things from like these star beings, angels, whatever the case may be, that are absolutely watching you. We've been talking about transmute, transpersonal, all that kind of good stuff, because this is where you're at. And I can't even express how powerful this feels to me, especially because I feel like this has been a tough reading for me linguistically, because it seems to be charged. Maybe it's this point in history, your point in history of your holistic nature. But I just want to express an immense amount of gratitude for your awareness, authentic
Aaron.
awareness. Last but not least here, Libra, you have here Magician's Sword. And having confidence in your magic of whatever that is, of your awareness, your alchemy, and the accolades that you're receiving, again, not necessarily from just humans. And maybe it won't come in just the human space, but it's almost like you're not doing it for the accolades other than for the self. But I keep seeing that someone wave, smile and wave. They're like, you know what's going on. We are here with you. And when I look at all that smoke of like the fish jumping out of the water, and that's how I can see like all the smoke of the Magician's Sword. It's really quite... Okay, there's also right in here, sorry, as I'm getting ready to close, I promise.
Disfigured.
Right here, yeah, there's something in like the cheek. Somebody might be grinding teeth, or like TMJ or something. Control, trying to control things, but I hear the only thing I'm able to control and contribute to is the wellness of my holistic nature, and then it spreads out as, as an example. And we don't resonate with everyone else's examples of their existence and what, whatever those energies may be, but you're acutely aware of yours. And this doesn't seem to be constipating. There might be, some grit. And there's also something that could be from, because I'm seeing a mummy, like a mummy. Yeah, like a mummy, like, with the wrappings. And it's somewhere in here. Somebody also might have had wisdom teeth out, or some sort of dental surgery, or perhaps you had, again, just that ache in there. But there's something about that is healing.
It's warm.
It's healing. All right. Libras, I want to thank you so much for being my muse, for holding space for me to share my insights and allowing me to be a guest in your aura. I look forward to seeing you again. And until then, have a great day. Thanks for scrying with me. Bye.
You shouldn't be here.